Hi, this is Mike Hendrickson from Strata Hadoop World in Singapore. I'm here with Prakash from Paxata. Prakash, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Great to see you here in Singapore.
So you too, and you now have an office down here, right?
Absolutely. We have a full team here, and we've been working in Singapore for close to a year now, and thrilled. As I shared a little earlier, we've been extremely fortunate and thrilled to have worked with EDBI, who had made an investment in Paxata, and we've made Singapore the headquarters for our international growth markets. So we will not only cover the rest of Asia, but also other growth markets like the Middle East, etc. From Singapore. We have a team on the ground, both technical and commercial members, and we've been working with the leading financial institutions. We already have customers, we already have partners here, and not only have we have a team here, we have presence in Korea. We recently launched in Japan. So we're thrilled to be here, and Singapore is a great place to be.
And are there any different industries here? I know obviously finance is big here. It seems like there's a mall everywhere. Is retail big here as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Across the board, Paxata's strategy is to serve specific vertical industries, and we serve financial services, we serve CPG and retail, we serve healthcare, pharma, and we serve high tech, and we serve government. And what we see is those segments are exactly in line with what's going on here in Singapore and in the North Asian markets in general. So when we talk about high tech, you talk about the largest consumer electronics companies and the efforts around IoT, etc. You're talking about financial services, you're talking about risk and compliance, financial crimes and compliance, stress test, etc. You're talking about pharma and healthcare. You have the same situation about drug certification processes. You're looking at how do you optimize customer profitability, and that applies across the board. So what's been really good is the types of customers we serve in the North American market are actually very similar to what we're doing here in the North Asian market.
So is there a similar trend of building data lakes and having analytical tools and all that, but you guys have something a little different to bring to that mix?
Yes.
Is that also different here?
That's an excellent question. So the entire industry has over the last few years spent a significant amount of time and money investing in these large data lake projects. And they've also spent a significant amount of investment in self-service BI or predictive analytics or packaged analytical applications, etc. What we have found, and the reason the company was founded, was the biggest challenge in analytics is not in the inability to store and manage large amounts of data, which it's absolutely necessary to do that. It's not about the lack of analytical solutions. It's fundamentally the problem of turning raw data into trusted information that's ready for analytics. And that's what we have been on the journey of. And we are thrilled that at Strata in New York, about 3 years ago in 2013, we launched our company and we launched the whole notion of self-service data preparation. And we're thrilled that 3 years later, the industry has endorsed us. We have been having fantastic traction from the market, and we are now moving to further scale this across a variety of customers and sizes of customers and become enterprise grade standards for customers. But what's really important around the Paxata journey is data preparation is done by people in line of business who have the semantic understanding and the business context. And the consumer experience that we deliver to them allows them to go from data to information in a very, very short amount of time using the power of algorithms and a consumer experience. At the same time, however, Mike, the self-service data prep app that Paxata delivers is powered by a very robust and highly scalable adaptive information platform which can be stood up by IT and comes with built-in capabilities like governance, like multi-tenancy, like scale, like the ability to handle interactive workloads, which is all very important for large enterprise deployments. So for the first time in the history of the industry, you have a company that's bringing a solution which is loved by the business and at the same time approved by IT, and allows you to go from data to information instantaneously. So that's what we're doing.
Can you give me an example of like a type, it doesn't have to be a specific company, but like just take an example and how you do it from the very beginning, and then you turn this raw data into information that helps the business.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a large financial institution that has thousands of analysts who are working in the financial crimes and compliance area. What many don't realize is that when you're looking at financial crimes and compliance, a largest part of being able to identify good actors or bad actors is really about the triangulation of curated data sets. So what we are able to deliver to our customer, which is actually a large customer based here in Singapore, large financial institution, is giving their business analysts the ability, with a very simple user experience and a very simple user interface, to be able to drag data both coming out of their Hadoop data lake and also from non-Hadoop sources, to be able to clean it, to be able to merge or join it, to be able to shape it, and to be able to come up with the triangulated or curated triangulated information set, which then they can go ahead and come to conclusions or go and do analytics with. And this they do on a self-service basis. Now, underlying, while this is the experience that they're living with, underlying the Paxata platform is sitting on top of their Hadoop data lake, running on Apache Spark, using leveraging Yarn, and they're doing this at a enterprise level. So we are an application or a platform sitting on top of their data lake infrastructure, and we are giving the line of business analyst direct exposure to their data, ability to shape it, prepare it, and transform it into information ready for analytics.
So that sounds like it's on the path to, as you said earlier, adaptive, so that could almost become predictive in the future where...
Absolutely. This is another very interesting point that you bring up. So the world where we live in is today a world where we want to allow the business analyst to self-serve and prepare the data herself or himself. The world where we are going to is where the machine or the Paxata intelligent platform learns from the business analyst. And what do we learn? We learn the semantics of the data that the analyst is preparing, and we learn the steps that the analyst takes in going from data to information. We leverage that and eventually become the intelligent assistant and the adaptive platform that actually becomes the recommendation engine on how data should be prepared. And eventually, we completely digitize the process of data preparation and automate it using crowdsourced suggestions, using the underlying semantic models and the semantic techniques we have, and leveraging the highly scalable highly scalable Apache Spark and distributed computing environments that we have.
Excellent. So what do you think is in the future for this industry, and especially the self-service preparation part of it for you guys, and then in general for the whole industry? Where do you think we'll be next year?
I think first we have to start with the people, and we have to start with the world where today business is becoming more and more savvy in leveraging information for driving their businesses. A regular line of business director or owner or manager is very data and information savvy. And as a result, what they are demanding of their IT organizations is give me the right information and I will go and crank this. They are not willing to wait 18 months for a big, rollout and a forklift type of stuff. They want to be fast, they want to be agile, and yet they want to be also, they very well understand that we need to do this in a methodical, governed environment. So I think the first thing that is happening, which is very exciting, is there is no business in the world that is not an information and a data-driven business. None, right? And once you start with that, then you say, what is it that we need to do? There is two things that are going. There's a transformation in the businesses themselves. We hear this world of digitization that's happening. And then there is the notion of how do you appropriately harness data and make it information that's relevant to your business. So in the next 12 months, I see a couple of things. First, on the business side, I do think that the transformation and the digitization of the businesses will accelerate, and I do believe line of business managers will make this part and parcel of their day-to-day business. In fact, yesterday, Shamik Kundu, the Chief Data Officer of Standard Chartered Bank, made a very interesting statement. He said that at the end of the day, there is no line of business owner in banking that is not aware that data and information are their core assets for their business, right? And this is no longer something that's nice to have or it's interesting thing to do. It's about you either deal this way or you perish. That's what the industry is going towards. I see that accelerating in the next 12 months. Technology vendors always have to look at it from a standpoint of what is the business transformation and what is the business outcome and how can we contribute to that effort. Where I see the world is, I do think that business is becoming more and more aware that just merely having analytical tools, visualization tools, predictive models is not going to cut it. Because as we just saw the other day with the outcome of the US election, 99% of the polls by the smartest people in the world came up with extremely wrong conclusions. And regardless of which political leaning you are, all of us agree that the outcome was very unforeseen and surprising, and that the predictions were all wrong. And why is that? I refer to this, or we at Paxata refer to this, as the problem of the deplorable data triangle.
Right.
And the deplorable data triangle is centered around lack of complete data, selecting the wrong data sets, and being able to leverage dirty data sets. And this happens continuously. I think one of the trends we're seeing is everybody in businesses across different vertical industries are recognizing that analytics and data management infrastructure is not enough. The capability of being able to transform data into information instantaneously becomes a precursor to the digital transformation of the business. And that's the trend we are starting to see. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's certainly moving very fast.
No more deplorable data syndrome.
We should not be in 2016, Mike, when we live in a world where we're talking about autonomous driving vehicles, when we're living in a world where Siri is able to answer most of my 7-year-old and 8-year-olds' answers and questions at the speed of thought, we should not be in a world where human beings are, struggling with munging and cleaning and shaping of data to just be able to answer a simple question. So I think the digitization is well underway. I think Paxata, along with our ecosystem, is leading the charge. And I do think that we are on a very, very exciting journey where frankly the deplorable data triangle is no longer going to be a problem for us. And we are going to escape this triangle and go into the world where we have information at the speed of thought and we have confidence in this information.
Excellent. Prakash, we look forward to that journey with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks.
Cheers.